Hey guys, Austin here with mymobileultrasoundbusiness.com. So I'm making this video because we've been getting a lot of questions for people asking about the different types of service incomes and streams of incomes that can be generated using this business model. So this video will just touch on a few of these. And as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or feel free to head over to our website and book a consulting appointment and we can chat and talk about your concerns and questions. So, okay, we'll get right into it. So basically, these are going to be different streams of revenue, what we call ancillary streams. Some of them can be primary streams of revenue, for your mobile ultrasound business that you decide to create and operate. So first, I want to just start out talking about like the preventive screening services. So these types of services can generate a great amount of revenue. And the thing I like about these services is that they're pretty much like on a cash pay basis. It's not regulated by any like government organization or any like federal governing body. It's pretty much just you implement your preventative screening service program. You set up your different parameters. You put in your protocols, and then you go out and market your services to the people that fit your marketing profile. So there's different types of screenings that you can offer with these services. And what I would suggest is I would suggest building out a package and including, a couple of these into a package and then offering this package at a certain rate. For these services, I would charge anywhere from like 149 to 249, just depending on how the package is set up. These services are pretty much designed to help people stay up on top of their health, help people catch any early issues that may arise in the near future, or just pick up risk factors for a disease that could develop or serious illness that could develop later on down the road. So I'm just going to read out some of the screening types that you can do and put inside your program. And this is not meant to be like an all-inclusive list, but here are just some of the most popular ones that I see often and that a lot of our consulting clients put together. So the first one is carotid artery screenings. These screenings are just typically looking for like plaque buildup and any other like pathology with the carotids and the carotid arteries. Some of the things they look for, just checking like for stroke risk factors, as a lot of these are with like plaque buildup. Some people put in like the IMT um, measurements as well, just to check that that layer as well for risk factors as well. So another one is ABIs. You can do ABIs and offer that in your packages. Some heart and echo techs, they like to offer the heart screenings, which I think is a great service. So you can do really, you can even offer just heart echo screenings as a standalone screening. So you have those. You have abdominal screenings. A lot of times, the abdominal screenings, they'll just like do a quick scan of like the abdominal aorta, looking for triple A's. Some techs and some people decide to structure their package where they just include like a liver scan, a gallbladder scan, pancreas scan, kidney scan as well. So, I mean, really, it's just really how you want to set it up and how you want to do it. I would also definitely include like the vitals, such as like blood pressure, O2 sats, body temperature, and um, and a simple EKG as well. So, with our screening program, we picked up a fairly inexpensive, let's say $200 to $300 EKG machine that does like an EKG reading, and that pretty much just checks for like any abnormal heart rhythms. and arrhythmias, things like that. And so these are things that you can include into your screening packages that basically just gives the individuals taking the screenings more information about their health. And also, it could catch any potential serious illnesses or diseases early on. Let's see. Also, body mass index. That's a pretty easy one that you can include into your screening packages. So when we set up our screening program, we have a program that we input like all the calculations, and it inputs when we input the data for each patient, it performs the analysis and it does the calculation on the back end, and then it computes the number for the patient to give them that body mass index. You can do this for the carotid artery screening as well. When you're trying to get that ratio, you can have that information already inputted on the back end. So once you put in the numbers on the form that you're filling out on each patient that you're doing, is going to be automatically computing the information. And also, you can have it to where you can select down, like based on that ratio that you're getting, it will it will produce like what category they're in as well. So that's a pretty cool program and form that we used, and we go into that a little more in depth in our consulting program for people that want to build out an actual screening program. Because this is, I would say, this is like one of the top ways to generate revenue outside of going to like service providers as far as like physicians and doctors' offices. I would definitely say this is one of the top revenue generators for a lot of our consulting clients and for us as well. So the thing about this model, it can be marketed to businesses or just general consumers and nonprofit groups. So the thing about this with businesses, business owners and businesses actually can save money on their insurance premiums, like their workman's comp and health insurance programs, by actually providing preventative services and wellness programs into their business and for their employees. So let's say you come into a business, you can offer this program, you can do it like once a year. The price that you're going to charge for the program that you're offering to these businesses, a lot of times they're going to save like in money time, like that times five, as far as like their workman's comp insurance and health insurance premiums. So at the end of the day, you just have to get the data from them and just work with them and work with their insurance companies to figure out like what are their savings going to be, and also the benefits. You know, this is going to lead to a healthier workplace for them. They can help their employees stay on top of their health. So this has like a lot of intangible benefits, but ultimately you just have to produce and show them like, hey, this is what you're going to save, and this is what it's going to cost. So basically, you want that service to pretty much just wash itself out. Basically, you want the cost to be less, or you want the cost to be, yeah, you want the cost to be less than what they're going to make in savings with the reduced rates that they're going to get by implementing these programs. Also, you can market just directly to consumers, directly to individuals in your community. This is very good because it offers a very affordable way for people just to stay on top of their health and not pay expensive prices that they would usually have to pay by going to like a doctor's office or something like that. Like I said, I would price these services anywhere from like 149 up, but you can do it as low as $99. It really just depends on what you want to get out of the program that you're setting up. So, alrighty, we'll go to the next part, which is pretty much like one of the more popular that we get for this program, which is the like mobile ultrasound service model for physicians. So usually this is going to be done in a physician's office, and basically the physician is going to be providing the supervision. And with this, you have to be careful because you want to make sure that you are following all of the rules and regulations for this type of model that are set forth by like the federal government, the OIG, Office of Inspector General, and the various just governmental organizations that govern healthcare and govern um, the processes for these type of ancillary services to be used inside the physician's offices. Like I said, all of these agreements for this type of model is supplied in our consulting program. This is pretty much what we specialize in. So you have your standard model, which is going to be pretty much what we call like the fee for service, which here you can see it is known as like the pay per hours, which is also known as block leasing, which is basically also known as fee for service. A lot of people call it fee for service. This is where you're going to come in with the physician and you're going to basically set up this program to where you may come in like once every other week, or you may come in once a week for 4 hours or 8 hours, and you're going to offer ultrasounds and you're going to do ultrasounds on their patients. Now, you can do a pay per study model with this, which is per click, or you can do a pay per hour model, which is basically fee for service or block leasing model, which it is most commonly known as. So, your pay per study is going to vary with paper study, it just depends. Like all of this stuff has to be fair market value. So it just depends on what type of exam you're offering. But you do want to have your fees set in advance with the paper study. So with your contracts and agreements, and we teach this in our consulting program, you want to list out each type of study that you offer, and you want to have a fee schedule for each type of study that you offer in your contract at the end, which is usually going to be like on an exhibit A or exhibit B. And this is just so you can be make sure you're in compliance. Now there's like 100 other rules as well to be in compliance, but this is just one of them. Also, the block leasing model, you also have to list your rates, and they also have to be set in advance. You also want to list this as an exhibit on the end of your service agreements as well. So, like I said, both models, you want to make sure that you guys are following healthcare guidelines, rules, and regulations. And remember, percentage arrangements are not typically allowed. Percentage arrangements are not typically allowed. So you also want to make sure you follow the anti-kickback, Stark law, and follow all the in-office ancillary exception provisions and rules according to the federal government and the regulating bodies. So these service agreements are included in our consulting program. All you literally have to do is just figure out which model you want to do, and then you pull that particular um, contract and service agreement, and you fill it out. And once you fill it out, you put all your information in for your business, and you customize it to your business, and then you put your pricing in, and then from there you pretty much just send it to the physician office manager and have them sign it, send it back. Now you're in business. So I would say, like I said, this is the most popular. Paper study is going to vary. Fair market value. Pay per hour is going to vary as well. Has to be fair market value. What we're seeing with pay per hour, we're seeing anywhere from 125 to $160 per hour. So just for a general rule of thumb, you're looking at about $1,200 for a full 8 hour day, not including lunch. So for a full 8 hour day, you're looking at about $1,200, anywhere from 1,000 to 13, $1,400 range. So yep, just make sure you're in fair market value with all of those. So the next business model that we see a lot with the mobile ultrasound business is 3D, 4D imaging services. So usually these services are targeted like for like OB imaging, and usually they're like a fixed location or a mobile operation, and they're just gonna generally target women that are pregnant and expecting. Um, and like I said, these can be fixed or mobile. You're gonna save money by having a mobile operation because you can just go directly to your clients. But having a fixed location is good as well because you have that visibility, especially if you are in a good location. So that is definitely an option as well. A lot of people do this model, and this model can make some really good income as well. So the main thing with this is just to be compliant, and you want to follow your state regulations, and you also want to make sure that you have the proper forms and consent forms and release of liability and liability forms for your clients when you're doing this type of business. Like I said, again, in our program, we do have consent form and release forms for 3D and 4D ultrasound services, and we also offer consulting programs for 3D and 4D ultrasound services and ultrasound imaging. So feel free to book a call on our website if you're interested in in those as well. And one of the things that we do pride ourselves on with the 3D and 4D imaging is the marketing aspect. And so we're like Google certified with Google Analytics, Google Search, Google YouTube, as well as there was one more. So there's Google Search, Google Analytics, and Google My Business as well. So we're certified from Google and all of those. And so we really give like good advice when it comes to getting customers and helping clients get customers when first opening up their organization with those. And there are some platforms that just are not good at all as far as marketing, and there are some platforms to where we will help you get customers like literally your first week of opening. So yeah, just definitely reach out if you're interested in that at all. So the next one is private pay ultrasounds. So you can offer private pay ultrasounds for patients that cannot afford regular pricing or insurance prices. So usually you're going to help these patients and you're going to save them a lot of money because usually your prices are going to be set in a way to where it's going to be very cost beneficial for your patients as opposed to them paying the other rates that they would pay normally with insurance or without insurance. So you can partner with physicians, chiropractors, surgeons, concierge medicine services, local health co-ops and organizations. And the good thing about this, you can also market this service directly to patients and offer services to them. So this has really been beneficial because with it not being like federal healthcare and having that federal healthcare oversight, you can really just be flexible with the services that you offer to the patients. You can travel to patients and do the services. Like I said, you just want to have your paperwork in order. You want to have all your proper release and consent forms in order. And like I said, the program that we have, our consulting program, provides all of that for you. So I mean, honestly, we've made like lots of money with private pay ultrasounds because there's just some people that just can't leave their homes for whatever reason. They may be bed bound or just can't leave their homes. So we've had lots of people reach out to us and have us come out to them, perform services for them. Also, you can partner with doctors' offices as well if you don't want to go the like the other route where you're doing like the fee for service or the individual paying per ultrasound. You can just offer private pay ultrasounds and just offer that to the physician's patients as well. And like I said, with these right here, you just have more flexibility because you're not operating under those federal healthcare programs. So there's just more flexibility. Um, Again, all of this is in our consulting program as well. So another business model that you can do with this imaging career and mobile ultrasound business is you can open up an ultrasound mobile scan clinic. So there are some students and graduates that just need refreshers on scanning. So they may not have access to a scan lab, and they may not be able to get a job right away out of school. So you can open a business that just targets sonographers, and you can market directly to sonographers, and you can just offer them, like, different perspectives. You can give them refreshers. You can teach sonographers new scans. You can teach them new studies. You can teach them new modalities, or you can just help sharpen and refresh their skills. And you can charge to do this. So definitely keep this in mind. Like I said, this right here is very, very flexible. You don't have to be locked in to any strict rules or regulations. As you can just be ethical with your offerings, and just show and teach according to the nationally accepted protocols. Okay, so the next one that a lot of people ask about, but it is a little more expensive. It's quite more expensive actually, but I mean it definitely can still be worth it. But this model is not directly included in our program, but we do touch on it and talk about it just a tad in our consulting program. And this is the independent diagnostic testing facility. So with this, I mean, I hope to clear up a lot of questions because a lot of people ask about this. So with this right here, it's pretty much it's known as an IDTF, short for Independent Diagnostic Testing Facility. So with this, you're pretty much coming in and you're partnering with physicians. You're partnering with sometimes nursing homes, sometimes like different facilities, long-term care facilities, rehab facilities. But with this model, you're coming in and you're billing the insurance directly under your provider number. So with this right here, you must apply to be credentialed through Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurers. So let me change this really quick. So an IDTF is going to have like different requirements as opposed to the other model, which is like a fee for service and a model to where you're just doing like a pay per study model. It's going to be much more detailed. So you're going to have a physician and medical director that's responsible for pretty much like the oversight of your operations. And also, you're going to have like a quality assurance program. There's like equipment requirements. So with this model, since you on the application, you have to like put your serial number on the application when you're actually submitting it. There's like the upfront cost and upfront burden of purchasing equipment before you ever even get a client. So this is one of the downsides, and a lot of times, like you just have to wait so long before you even get approved, before your license even gets approved. So that's another downside. You have that upfront equipment burden, as opposed to the other model that we teach with these models here, with the pay per study, pay per click, pay per hour, fee for service models. You can wait right until you're getting ready to service your new clients before you have to purchase equipment. So you don't have that upfront equipment burden. So you can just have the agreement signed, and let's say you're gonna start like that next week. You can literally, we can help you literally arrange your machine to come in like 2 to 3 days later. If we need to help you get your machine overnighted, we can get your machine overnighted. So that's going to be a huge difference compared to the IDTF. Now, the IDTF does have some pros. You pretty much get to operate independently, um, which is pretty much what it says in its name. You get to operate independently. You get to bill directly. You get those reimbursements directly. So, I mean, there are pros, but it is more costly and it's much more expensive. And you do have to have your equipment up front. So, you could be paying, even if you're just renting or leasing the equipment, you could be paying thousands of dollars just waiting for your application to get approved. and you're just having that equipment just sitting there. Now, some people choose to apply for this right away, but they go ahead and start marketing themselves as this. And so, I mean, that kind of balances itself out. But still, we recommend that everybody start under this model. And then, as you get a little experience under your belt, you start generating some revenue, then transition to the IDTF route. Also, IDTF route, they can pretty much they can travel to patients directly and bill the patient's insurance directly. Whereas with this model here, the physician's office is going to bill the patient's insurance. And so you're pretty much just going to help them and guide them with the proper codes and like the CPT codes, the ICD codes. You're going to help and guide them with that. You're going to pretty much just assist with their billing department. But here you're pretty much doing your own billing, or you're subcontracting out the billing to a third party biller as well. So I mean, there's pros and cons to each model. But with here, the physician medical director, it has to be, well, I won't get into that too much, but I will say this physician has to actually have knowledge and pretty much experience with your modalities. So pretty much it has to be like a radiologist. Like you can't go and get a random physician that does internal medicine to just be your physician medical director, because it has to meet those strict requirements, because they will be providing supervision as well. So, and that's another thing with this right here, the supervision is different. And that's just one of those many, many federal healthcare guidelines as far as physician supervision. So I won't go too deep in that, but here the physician supervision is provided by the medical director, and that's why it has to be pretty much a radiologist or somebody that reads the studies that you are engaging in. Another service that you can offer is home-based services. You can partner up with physician groups, concierge medicine, and offer like private pay and self-pay services to these patients. Another one that a lot of people like to do, they like to partner with nursing homes, assisted living, and rehab centers. And this helps service patients bedside in their facility, versus having to pay for insurance or pay insurance or have insurance pay for ambulance and non-medical emergency transportation fees. So that is definitely a benefit for partnering with nursing homes, because you're actually saving the patient's money by coming to the patients and performing the studies versus them having to get transferred out and sent to a facility. So this is a really good model as well, but you just definitely want to make sure the rules and regulations are met with this model as well. Also, you can partner with hospitals and medical groups. So you can provide staffing. So for like some areas, there may be like more rural or just areas that are having trouble staffing ultrasound techs. What you can do is you can pretty much become like a staffing agency and provide staffing services to that facility. So basically, you would just hire the ultrasound techs to come in and perform the services and perform the duties that are set forth in the agreement, and you can charge a premium for this. Um, so this right here is a really, really good way to generate revenue, and there are companies out there that just do ultrasound staffing. That's all they do. They go and work with hospitals and just provide ultrasound techs and X-ray techs. So this is pretty much a really good business model as well if you're interested in that. Also, you could market yourself to hospitals as an on-call group, and this would be pretty much for hospitals and facilities that need on-call coverage but don't have it, and they're just having trouble with their on-call program. You can come in and say, "Hey, we can provide these services to you guys on an on-call basis, and you'll just pay us X amount, however you guys set that up." So that's a great revenue generator as well. Another thing you can do, you can offer corporate medical training. So you can go out and offer training services and ultrasound services to where you're like teaching them and showing them how to use the equipment, showing them the basics of the ultrasound, doing a good, like, thorough review, almost like a certification type program, to where you're gonna train these people, you're gonna set up an education program, an education certificate, and then you're gonna certify them. So you can do this and offer training services for fire departments, EMTs, doctors, chiropractors, other providers, ER nurses, physician assistants, nurse practitioners. You can also offer fast ultrasound training. Um, so, so yeah, you can definitely generate some good revenue with this by offering this certification type program. So, lastly, which is it's kind of similar to the staffing we talked about before, but you can offer staffing services for clinics. So the facility will actually provide the equipment, and you can charge on a per patient or per hour basis, and you can also offer the services on an on-call basis. Um, so yeah, this is a good model as well because with the facility providing the equipment, you can just focus on the staffing part, which is providing the personnel and providing the people in the back office ancillary support for the clinic, as opposed to having to focus on the equipment and the personnel. So this is a really good model as well. Um, and you can definitely charge a premium as well, anywhere from like $70 to $100 per hour for these services as well. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions on any of these, we cover pretty much most of these in our consulting online consulting program. And yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and like, share, subscribe, share this video if you found it interesting. And one thing I forgot to add to this right here. So with this right here, and this will be in our program. We're making a program that's going to go specifically in our consulting online program that addresses this specifically. But we have figured out the way to get customers and generate like a substantial amount of revenue with this model right here. And I will tell you, it's not one on one. It's going to be through groups. So just a tip for you guys. It's going to be through groups to where you can do one agreement or you can go out and attract groups and work with groups. And we're generating a program that is going to discuss that way in depth. So, yep. Alrighty, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thanks. See you later. Bye bye.